down the chimney down. Coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney. Down. Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome to the Rebuttal. I am your host, Robby A. Shaw, and this week with me I have my brother Chris Shaw, as we will be discussing the Steelers and the Washington football team's game this week, tomorrow actually, Monday afternoon in Pittsburgh. Chris, thank you for being here. I am so sorry we just did a whole show that I did not record, and we have to do all of this again. How are you doing, man?
Feel the same, cuz. But no, I'm straight, man. I'm excited to be able to watch football in the year of the pandemic and have something to kind of look forward to on Sundays with sports, because LeBron already just mopped the whole NBA up, so there's nothing left for me to do.
We're not going to talk about that because
football.
I'm still sore. I really thought Miami was going to pull that one out. But anyway.
Not with Jimmy Butler as your only star.
I love Jimmy Butler, man. That's a show for another week. I love Jimmy Butler. That's my guy. Shout out to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. But anyway, this week we are discussing Washington and Pittsburgh. Washington coming off of that 41-16 win over the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington on Thanksgiving. Again, I did not watch that game. I started to. I didn't care about it, and then I turned it off. So I do want to say it was a little bit close in the beginning. It looked like the Cowboys were going to do some work, and then I looked up after I turned it off, and it was 41-16.
Well, the Cowboys did what they do. So.
So other than the score, what else do you have to add, if anything, to discuss Washington and that game?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a easy bucket here. The Washington won because they had a guy who was poised and ready to run the ball on the Cowboys, and he ran the ball on the Cowboys, averaging six yards per carry. The dude was just going off on them, and they were just like, looks like we're not going to be able to catch him. Touchdown 3 times. And so, I mean, I don't know what people were expecting when they saw that game, but I mean, they just didn't have a dog in the fight. I'm not down on Andy Dalton, but when you got Andy Dalton back there as your leader, I'm just not. Historically, Andy Dalton ain't the man. He ain't never gonna be the man.
He's no Dak Prescott.
And that's all right. No, he's not, and he never will be. Dak is the heart and soul of the Cowboys at this point. I think it's a shame they didn't pay him, because now we're seeing the results of an organization that needs to both respect and acknowledge the impact that Dak Prescott has had on that team. Absolutely. I promise you they will not, hopefully, because this is their MO, but hopefully they won't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I say all that to say I don't know if it was more of a Washington win than it was a Cowboys loss, because the Cowboys have just not been doing well this year. I think you have to give credit where credit is due. The Washington being coached by Ron Rivera, this was a great game for them. I think that there are positive insights there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I personally think it was more a Cowboys loss than it was a Washington win. And, I mean, after we talk later and talk about kind of some of what goes on with Washington historically as a team in terms of their schedule and how much points they put up, you'll see that we're not talking about anything that really means a difference when you beat a team that's 3-8. So.
Yes. I looked at that end score. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but it definitely felt like it was the Cowboys. And I do feel like after Dak Prescott left, like you said, the heart and soul of that team just seemed to disappear. They weren't doing that well when he went down. But after that, it's just been, I don't know how you come back from that, especially with a new coach. And I honestly feel like a lot of the Cowboys may be phoning it in. But the fact is that the NFC least has been so bad that even when they phone it in, they're still in it. Like, it's still, they're only a game out and can still win this division, even now, with 3 wins. Like, no one has more than 4. So it's really bad. But just because I am wearing this shirt, I wanted to talk about my Steelers shirt.
Oh, man.
It's my Steelers sweater. It's the holiday season. It is December, and I will be wearing this shirt going forward unless it's a division game and unless we lose a game as I'm wearing this shirt. So speaking of the Steelers game last week, I was very disappointed. I really had hopes, and I should have known better as a Steelers fan than to expect them, because the Ravens were shorthanded, missing their starting quarterback, missing their starting running backs, missing defensive players, and all of that stuff. I stupidly got inside of my head and said, this should be a blowout. Yep. I forgot that this game got moved 3 times. Mm-hmm. I forgot that this is a division game. I forgot that this was the Ravens. Yep. And as 2020 has, it reminded me of exactly what it should be thinking. And I watched a very nasty knockdown, drag-out fight that should not have been that close, that should have been a blowout, but was not. Right. And I watched the Steelers eke out a win 19-14 against the Ravens, shorthanded, because at one point they even went to their third-string quarterback, who actually threw a 70-yard touchdown pass, which was trash. The Ravens who I want to say, and I never hope to say this again, the Ravens played a really good game considering all the factors. Their defense showed up. Their defense played like our defense played last year, where we didn't have our starting quarterbacks. Our defense hit another gear. Their defense hit another gear. And they did not let this game get out of hand. I got to give kudos to them for that. Hope to never do that ever again as a Steelers fan. But we do get the win. I have to remember that too, even after this game was really hard fought. Right. We did win the game. We are 11-0 and still number 1 seed, not only in the AFC, but in the AFC North, which is what really matters to me. And we have swept the season series against the Ravens. So that's really good news. So now we get to this week with Washington coming to town. 5 o'clock start on the East Coast, 3 o'clock start out here in Arizona where we are. What are your thoughts on Washington? I know you're not a fan, but what are your thoughts on Washington as to where they stand now and as they are as a football team?
So, I mean, they've had quite the tumultuous existence just in terms of changing their name or resisting changing their name. Something you brought up, not even wanting having black players on their team. I'm sorry, sir. If you don't have us on your team, who is going to be on it? Can you tell me? Right. Especially with what's been going on. And salute to them for recognizing it was time to change and, acting accordingly. I think any team who's that daft and that can't see what's happening in the, not just culturally, but even in the spectrum of football, you don't deserve to be a professional football team. And so for them to finally make these changes and you kind of start to see a glimmer of hope in the NFC least, as you called it. I mean, it's good. It's good for them. I think that they're making strides towards being a better team. Ron Rivera was a great addition. I am personally still hoping to see a Dwayne Haskins sighting. I'm hoping to see him step up. I'm hoping to see him be the future of this team because Alex Smith is not the future of this team. I'll say it, hot take, whatever. He ain't it. I would also say, just as a team, I mean, they've got some things to be thankful for on the running side of things. That guy is nothing to joke about. That guy he's a great running back. Antonio Gibson put it up on them. So if this could at least bolster his confidence, I read an article that said that he himself felt like, he's had these moments even when he played in college where he had to step up. And this was one of them where he feels like God just opened the door for him to be able to step up, and he did it. And that's a big deal. That's a huge deal for a guy who believes that way, because once he gets the hope and kind of, holds on to where he's at, that's it. This guy's only going up. And so I don't want to say he's the second coming of this person or this or that or whatever. Antonio Gibson is his own running back, and putting up 3 touchdowns on any team is something that you should be proud of.
Absolutely.
I'll give him his flowers because we don't know, especially in this climate, if he's going to be around. Let's hope he doesn't injure himself or hurt himself, whatever, knock on wood, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of where I'm at with them. Yeah. As you know, I don't have a lot of good things to say about Alex Smith, so I won't. Because they say if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say anything. But McLaurin, which is their star receiver, might not be playing. Hopefully he does play on Monday, but if he doesn't, this guy's been doing work. He's been doing work this season. Almost 1,000 yards on 70 receptions, 3 touchdowns this year. So hopefully he'll get better on the 3 touchdowns end. But I got to say, I don't think that's his fault. I will never think that's his fault. You play the hand that you're dealt, and if you don't got a quarterback that can get you the ball, it's kind of hard to get the stats that you would put up normally. So for his career, he's almost at the 2,000 yard mark with close to 130 receptions and 10 touchdowns. Yeah. So not too bad. Nothing to sneeze at. He's 25 years old. So what do you expect? The kid's still a kid. And he's going to grow. So, they have something to be proud of where they're at. They call him Scary Terry, which is, I'm never calling another man Scary Terry in my life.
I think I saw it's only his second year or something too, right? I think
he's got a lot to
yeah. He'll get better. And like you said, he doesn't really have that quarterback to throw him the ball. He hasn't had that. And I am a fan of Dwayne Haskins too, and I'm really hoping he's able to turn it around and get another shot, even in Washington or somewhere else, like wherever he can. But the one thing I do want to say about the Steelers game from last week, as I've already expressed my displeasure, is that we did end up winning. But at the same time, it's one of those games where you don't expect to see the Steelers play 2 bad games in a row. I know Mike Tomlin said it in his post-game interview that we played sucky. We played a sucky game. We played like JV, and we let the Ravens hang around, and it was a lot closer than it should be. But that kind of makes you feel a little bit good about this game or a little bit better about this game, because I do feel like Mike Tomlin will have these guys ready. He will go in there. He will challenge them. He will challenge them physically. He'll challenge them mentally, and he will get this team up. And if I'm Washington, I would be afraid. Other than it being a short week for the Steelers and them being at home, you really have to know that you are going to get their best this week. This game wasn't pushed back a whole bunch of days like the last one was. They've had some time to get a really good schedule down. Ben is listed as questionable, and that does concern me. But the last time he didn't practice was when they played the Browns. No, the Bengals. And he came out and threw 3 touchdowns and over 300 yards. So if Ben sits out and doesn't practice and then comes in and plays like that, I am all for it. I am 1,000% all for that. And I think he has a capability of doing that. So for me, the Steelers need to show up for this game and prove a point. They need to prove a point with this game and let the people know that they are not a team to be played with, that last week was only because of extenuating circumstances, but they are the best team in the AFC. They are the best team in the AFC North, and they have to go ahead and prove that this week. So I'm looking for them to really come out with passion. I'm looking for them to come out and really hit Washington in the mouth. We did lose Bud Dupree last week, which was a huge loss for our defense, especially when you add in the fact that Devin Bush was already gone a few weeks prior to that. We have those are our guys. But, Robert Spillane has stepped up and has filled admirably. He's not as good as Devin Bush, but he has done a decent job, especially in that game against the Titans where he was tested, and the other game against the Ravens. And then we have Highsmith, who is our 3rd-round pick from this year, who now is going to be asked to step in. And now you're a starter now. You've got to come and play. This is your chance to show who you are, what you can do. Because we know what TJ is going to do on the other side. We need you to show up and show us what you're going to do to replace Bud Dupree. And you may not replace him because we don't expect you to be as good as Bud, but we expect you to give the same level of effort and energy. And if you do that, you're going to be just fine, in this league and in our team. So thinking about all that fun stuff, we get to the really good fun stuff is what we think the final score of this game is going to be. And since you're the guest, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, so I'll kind of just reiterate some of the same things that I said. I've watched this. I've watched this team based on their stats. Just as no, I think when it comes down to that, I am a numbers guy in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Washington does not have. They're not the kind of team that will come in and say, we're going to beat this team into submission. We are going to run the ball down their throat. We're going to do it. They're not going to do that. They're going to play the game that they play, which is, I'm looking at their average. They're averaging around 20 points when they play a team that's much better than them.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, the Steelers are much better than them.
Yes.
So if we're just looking at that, I mean, I hate when people do this thing where you never know it's on any given Sunday. Listen, I know you probably have your points to make on that end, but I don't think it matters. I don't think anybody's going to give a rip really about this game in terms of whether Washington can beat them or not, because they can't. Let's be honest. If Steelers play the way they've been playing, they will win. It's just. So again, if on the happenstance that it is a loss, it's a loss for the Steelers, not a win for Washington. And it doesn't create a trend, because beating a terrible team in the Cowboys and then coming and beating you guys, it doesn't matter if you guys are undefeated and they beat you. They just lost. It means that you guys lost, because historically as a team, I'm trying to look at it and go, well, I don't know Mike Tomlin to be the kind of guy that's just going to be like, okay, we squeaked that out. Good game, guys. Let's hit the showers.
Yeah.
I would be afraid to go in the locker room after that Ravens game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anybody got up off of that field and said, yeah, good stuff. And so for that reason alone, I'm not looking at the Washington, between Washington's history right now, as a team this season, and then what you guys have been doing. I'm giving them 17. It could be less, but I'll give them 17 on a happenstance of this only one thing it's a short week. Mm-hmm. So maybe guys haven't had the opportunity to heal all the way and stuff like that. But I think outside of that, we're talking 17 points, because historically we're looking at them. I like to use that word historically because it's history, because it's already passed. But the Rams beat them by 20 points. The Ravens beat them by mad points. The Cardinals beat them by mad points. And we're not talking about teams to slouch back on. Even the Browns beat them by 14 points. So we ain't talking about it like some type of, they've just been really giving these teams a fight, maybe like somebody like the Colts or the Chargers. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the Washington football team, who does not play up. They don't play up to teams. They just play their game, and they either win or they lose. Yeah. But it don't seem like much adjustments have been. And if you think about it, I guess it's not necessarily their fault, because you got a new coach, which means a new system. You got players who are still kind of green to the whole, not just playing football professionally, but being a professional in this league. And I think a lot of people don't talk about that. It's probably a really hard adjustment to go from college to the big league and still be expected to put up those numbers. Which is why they celebrate guys like Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott, because these guys have been doing that for a long time. So I'm not giving Washington any more than 17 points, and I'm definitely giving the Steelers at least 31, because they deserve that. They've earned their respect as a football team, but also y'all be putting up numbers on teams that it's hard to put numbers on. So I'm giving them 31-17, nothing less than that.
Yeah. I remember when you said that before, and I felt bad, because I'm still like, and it could be the Steelers fan mentality that I've seen them do this. And like I said last week, I expected them to roll them and just go ahead and blow out the Ravens, but we didn't. Again, there were a lot of extenuating circumstances, but there's no excuses. We need to play better. We haven't been playing our best football right now, and we need to start hitting that gear, turning the engine, let's hit that gear and start playing better football as the season progresses. And I really feel like this game, coming off of that Ravens game, is going to be a good test of exactly where we stand. Also, the next game against the Bills is going to be another big one, which we have next week. And I'm definitely a little bit afraid of that one, because that could, like you said, that could absolutely be a loss. The Bills are rolling right now. We're going to Buffalo. Yeah. But for this game, yeah, that's gonna be a dogfight. But talking about this game, I agree with you. I do see Washington scoring 17 points, and I would like to say the Steelers I see having 24 points, so I'm going to say 24-17. Only because when I said the games are going to be close, they usually have been blowouts, and the Steelers won. When I said they were going to be blowouts, they've been a lot closer than I wanted them to be. So I'm going to stick to that model, say it's going to be close, and hope that it's the other way and the Steelers blow them out. And we go ahead and win this game and go 12-0. And I think, I have to check, but I think we may be able to lock up our playoff spot this week, which would be awesome if we are. So that's pretty much it for right now. Man, I really appreciate you recording this with me twice because I messed up the first time.
All good. Remember this, I feel like we can put this out there. I feel like the team that's going to win this game is going to be the team that can make the best in-game adjustments.
Right, absolutely.
We got these teams who are, we know what to expect, but we really see a team play as a team when the unexpected hits. And then it's like, are we going to let this keep happening, or are we going to adjust our game and make this an actual game?
Yeah.
Not just get rolled. So
I think it's going to be a good game. I know Washington's defense isn't anything to sleep on, but like you said, Alex Smith does not concern me as much as a Lamar Jackson or RG3, even Baker Mayfield. When they had Joe Burrow in, that hurt me so much when Joe Burrow got hurt, because that kid's going to be something special. Like that kid is going to be the truth.
Yes.
And but. Yeah, so I'm definitely not as afraid of Alex Smith. But like you said, if Washington can run, they can hold the ball. And if they can hold the ball, they can keep our offense off the field. So we still got to go out there. We got to win this game. And I think we will. I honestly think we will. But thanks again, bro. Like I said, we're going to have a playoff edition. I'm going to definitely be inviting you. I got a few people on that list. And we're going to have some fun. But in the meantime, you say hi to the family for me. And we will talk again soon, man.
Yes, sir. Go Giants.
Later.
Go home, Giants, sir. All right.
Later. Well, that is our show for this week. I want to thank you all for joining, and I want to thank my guest, Chris, again for joining. Always a pleasure to sit and talk to him. I hope you all will tune in next week when we discuss the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills in a game that I expect to be extremely hard-hitting. Buffalo is rolling right now. I think they're 8-3. We're going to Buffalo. That is going to be a statement game. They beat us last year when we both were playing good football, and we ended up missing the playoffs because of that. This could be another game similar to that. But I am very much anticipating the Steelers coming through, handling their business, and winning that game as well in Buffalo to go on to 13-0 and to really hopefully lock up our playoff spot and maybe home field advantage if Kansas City ends up finally losing. I hope that you all have a great week, and I hope that you'll all be right back here next week on the Rebuttal and the Steelers 12-0. That's all for now. Take care.